few crimes seem as incomprehensible as the murder of a child, especially when the perpetrator is the child's parent. This type of homicide is filicide, which is defined as the killing of one's son or daughter. Resnick went further to separate filicide into two categories, neonaticide and infanticide. As you can see, neonaticide is the killing of a child within 24 hours of birth, and infanticide is the killing of a child before its first birthday. Bear in mind, filicide cases consider all ages of a child victim, but today these two categories will be discussed further. This crime has been documented for centuries all over the world. I'm sure many of you can name countries where this is common, such as China. Explanations of this crime have included, but are not limited to, population control, cultural reasons, disturbed hormonal imbalance, and ritual sacrifice. While there is a clear overlap between discarded infants and neonaticide, there are instances when the newborns are found dead prior to birth but are not considered cases of filicide. Because neonaticide committed by a father is extremely rare, many of the statistics will only be of maternal filicide. There are remarkable similarities among women who commit both classifications of filicide. They are usually found to be emotionally immature, have common psychological conditions, and are most often socially isolated. Research shows that women who commit this crime are usually young, in their teens to early 20s, of all ethnicities, unmarried and uninvolved with the father, and are still living with their parents. When a female becomes aware of her pregnancy, society expects that she would be delighted and will soon begin thinking about the well-being of her child. However, few women tend to react differently. The most common emotional and psychological themes presented in these women are denial, concealment, anger, mental illness, or fear or rejection from her social network. Women who kill their children are something of a mystery in our present-day culture, especially with our medical and psychological advances. With that being said, our society often immediately labels the women as psychotic, but in reality, these women are rarely psychotic. In fact, most of these women have no pre-existing mental illness. However, most women are found to have postpartum depression, also known as the baby blues. Very rarely do women committing this crime have postpartum psychosis, where the woman kills the baby because God or the devil told them to. This is why we need to compare the ages of neonaticide and infanticide, because the statistics vary. With neonaticide cases, we see more women who suffer from denial and concealment, which is also where it is critical to note that these women are often unmarried and younger and are very rarely psychotic or depressed. They kill solely because the child is not wanted. Infanticide, postpartum psychosis, and depression is more notable. The remainder of women who are not diagnosed mentally ill are found to come from a broken home where there is not a strong parental bond, or have a culture that does not approve of premarital sex. This is why the most common motives are fear, parental disapproval, unwanted child, revenge, and mental disorders. Our criminal justice system has a hard time convicting and sentencing women committing this crime because most plead that they are mentally disabled or disordered, which is why filicide continues to be a controversial issue among the courts. In efforts to lower the rate of neonaticide, many legislatures have enacted safe haven laws, where a woman can discard of her baby at the safe zone within a few days of birth and not be prosecuted. The disparities and controversies of trials among women committing these crimes can be seen with such cases as 20-year-old Michelle Buffin, who had no prior convictions and lived at home with her parents. She left her newborn baby to die in a trash can after giving birth in her parents' bathroom. She was indicted for first-degree murder and gross abuse of a corpse and was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. However, the almost exact same crime was committed by 14-year-old Sophia, who stabbed her baby after delivering it in the bathroom at her parents' house, and the judge ordered her to serve 100 hours of community service. The U.S., according to Shelton's article, has the fourth highest rate of infant homicide relative to population size. The nature of neonaticide also skews the statistics because the disposal of a newborn is relatively easy, and as a result, it is difficult to catch the crime. With most perpetrators of this crime being young, unmarried women with the mean age of 23, it is important also to note that teens in the U.S. are more likely to give birth than any other industrialized country in the world, which also can be related to filicide cases.